Hey folks, how you doing? My name is Rob and welcome to Part A of Medicare. And I just want to give you a quick disclaimer, folks. What I have done in these videos, I've tried to make each video 5 to 7 minutes in length. And being a 16 plus year veteran in the insurance field, I've tried to take the most important elements of Medicare, Parts A, B, C, and D, and put them into each video. I didn't get into the nitty-gritty details of each and every working part of Medicare because we'd be here for 5 to 10 hours, and I don't think anybody's going to watch my videos that long, even though I find them quite entertaining. But anyway, with that said, I wanted to keep it, brief, 5 to 7 minutes. And I'll tell you what, I think Part A is the most straightforward of all the different parts. So I'm going to jump into that right now for you. And I've also included some summaries of each video of what I talked about below the video and links so that you could do further research for yourself on the different various workings of Medicare and the different plans. So with that said, let's jump into Part A. And Part A is typically known as your hospital portion of Medicare. And I'll get into that in a minute, but just to back up real quick, typically, when you turn 65 or first become eligible for Medicare, you're going to get sent your red, white, and blue card, or what's known as your Medicare card. And typically, most, if not all, people qualify automatically for Part A. You typically had to work 40 quarters or so during your working lifetime to qualify for Part A without any premiums. Now, I do know some people that have had to pay premiums for Part A. You can look up those on your own, folks. It's few and far between. Virtually everybody qualifies for premium-free Part A. Therefore, there's no reason to delay it. People automatically get sent their, typically automatically get sent their red, white, and blue card. There are reasons that you want to delay your Part B, but I won't get into that in this scope of the video. We'll talk about that in Part B. But anyway, Part A, know that you'll be on the lookout for it, and it'll be sent to you typically in the mail. Also, once you get it, like I said, that typically covers your hospital portion of Medicare, as well as skilled nursing and your hospice. And let me go into, let me kind of read you what deductibles and copays you would face if you had Medicare only. In other words, if you didn't have a Medicare supplement plan, which we'll talk about later in the video series, or you didn't have Part C, what's called a Medicare Advantage plan, you just had strictly Parts A and B, here's what your Part A deductible would be. The first day that you step in the hospital, God forbid you had to go in the hospital, for 2015, and take these numbers with a grain of salt, folks, because they change from year to year, you would have a $1,260 deductible. In other words, that's what you're responsible to pay when you're admitted into the hospital. And that's going to cover you for days 1 through 60. Days 61 through 90, if you're still there, you're going to have a $315 per day copay. And then if you're there days 91 and beyond, it would be $630 a day, which jumps up quite a bit. And you'd also move into something called lifetime reserve days, which I won't get into in this scope of the video because it would just take way too long. But just know that if you were in there 100 days, which is very rare nowadays, typically after 3 days, they boot you out. And by the way, folks, I'm kidding. They don't literally boot you out. But typically after 3 days of being in the hospital, unless there's something severely wrong with you, they ship you to skilled nursing. So, what some people call skilled nursing, nursing home, that type of thing. If you go to the hospital to skilled nursing, as long as you've been in the hospital for 3 days, then skilled nursing would be picked up by Medicare. The first 1 through 20 days, you would have a zero copay, folks. So you wouldn't have to pay anything for skilled nursing, okay? Then if you were there days 21 through 100, you'd have to pay $157.50 per day for every day that you're in the skilled nursing / nursing home. And days 101 and beyond, there would be no copay because Medicare does not pay for 101 days and beyond. Medicare is typically designed for short-term care only. Part A, excuse me. Part A of Medicare, designed for short-term care only. So you're going to get a total of 100 days from Part A. And if you're still in the nursing home beyond that, or you're receiving custodial care, that type of thing, you're going to have to pay for it out of pocket. That gets into something called long-term care insurance, folks, and I'm not going to get into that in the scope of the video. So anyway, and then God forbid if you went from skilled nursing to hospice. In other words, you've been diagnosed as being hospice when you have 6 months or less to live with a terminal illness, then hospice is going to take over, and that's going to be covered under typically under a combination of Part A and a little bit of Part B. But Part A is typically going to cover that at zero copay, and they're going to send in all the doctors, the nurses. They're going to put together the plan of care for you to be at home. Again, if it's hospice and you're terminally ill. So anyway, let's kind of review this whole thing. Basically, you go in the hospital, you're going to have that $1,260 deductible that you're going to have to pay. If you're there 3 days, 5 days, 10 days, whatever, that's going to cover you 20 days. From there, if you go into the skilled nursing rehab, 0 to 20 days is typically on average how long people are there anyway. So typically you probably won't have any copay for that. But if you're there days 21 and beyond, you're going to start, adding, it's going to add up quick, $157 a day. I've had clients that have spent all 100 days there, and I thought they actually would have to go back to the hospital after they got the bill, because they looked at it and they were like, oh my God, sticker shock. Those copays do add up very quickly, folks. So anyway, as I mentioned, Part A does a great job of your short-term type care, your what they call acute care, that type of thing. It's not designed for a long-term care crisis. It's certainly not designed for custodial care. It's for plans of care that your doctor deems are medically necessary. So kind of keep that in mind. And I'll tell you what, Part A, really, that's kind of it in a nutshell. I mean, there are some other moving parts for Part A I won't get into. I'll try to put that in the summary below of the video. I'm trying to keep these videos brief, folks. But anyway, Part B will get a lot more involved, and we'll talk about that next. We'll talk about how the 80-20 comes into play, because that really comes into play during Part B. More so than Part A. So anyway, without further ado, head over to Part B next, and I'll see you over there.